And now, it's 10 a.m.
Let's just get down to it.
And it's time for your sports fix.
Strap yourselves in, folks.
From two guys who have covered the teams you're passionate about for years.
We are professionals.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. Happy Thursday that feels like a Friday.
It's because everyone has tomorrow off.
Yeah, we're celebrating the independence of this great country.
Except our friends at Mountain Home Services, who I think are coming to fix the heater.
Oh, really?
No, I don't know. We've got a heater up here.
We do,
they do
because
cooling, heating, plumbing, electrical, fireplaces, and generators.
We may have to move that heater. I think it is in the camera shot, and it is quite loud.
It is loud. That's the biggest issue. But it's cold in here.
It's
Once
cold.
again.
Again, it's cold, which everybody wants to hear about. Do you have big 4th of July plans, Ben?
Working in the yard. You?
God, that's all you do. But you are revolutionizing a space.
We are. We are radically overhauling.
Right. That's no small task. Well, that's a unfun way to celebrate the independence of this country.
Yeah.
But you have the time, I suppose.
Yeah, that's the important part. Got the time. And plants are sitting on top of the ground dying right now, so we got to get them in the ground.
What about the fireworks? We found out yesterday.
Bottle rockets, yeah.
You're a firework guy? Oh, you're going to light them off yourself, so you're not going to...
No, I live in a weird neighborhood that every once in a while people spend several $1,000s on fireworks, so I get it for free. Or it doesn't show up when I do my own, and I'm fine. But yeah, I don't need to travel to see them.
We live in a non-firework zone.
Yeah.
And so we do need to travel, but I'm really trying to figure out a way not to.
Do you guys have a view of the valley?
We do.
Like a natural view, like you step out of your front door and you can see the whole valley?
It's back door, but no, not whole valley. That's our issue. We've got an obstructed...
It's a little obstructed.
View, especially in the summer.
But can you, see all of the fireworks from
Not
your...
really.
Okay.
But I can get to a viewpoint in short order.
Okay.
However, that gets popular.
Yeah.
Then you have to deal with the couples that are making out, because it's also like a makeout spot.
And that's not you and your wife.
No, no. But the overviews are dominated 364 days a year by the makeout.
Yeah.
But the one time a year it's fireworks, I think the makeout people feel bullied. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But they're going to stand their ground. No, we're staying here.
86 today, 86 tomorrow. So we'll have a nice...
Pleasant weekend.
Yeah, not a horrendously hot 4th of July.
So hopefully everybody out there is doing something more fun than Ben. No offense, Ben. You need to do what you got to do, but yard work is not
top of the list for anybody.
What I would call fun. Some people do enjoy yard work. I'm not one of them.
You get a rhythm for it. It's like the way runners talk about getting a runner high. You don't get it from digging holes, but you get better at it, and it gets easier. And then you start to see progress, and it feels better.
Are you putting in exotic plants? What's the theme?
Hopefully things that will survive in the heat of the Utah desert.
But not like Amazon jungle or something.
No.
No, more like naturescaping, or what they used to call naturescaping.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we do live in a desert.
A desert.
All right. Well, good times.
Yeah, not super exciting, but fun.
You enjoy it.
Thank you.
We had an exciting afternoon yesterday, Ben. We're going to play our exclusive interview with Isaiah Collier coming up at 11:10.
We'll do 11:10. Do second half of the first segment of the second hour.
Stay tuned for that. He's a pleasant person. I thought it was a good conversation.
Yeah, some green flags, I thought, in what he talked about in the offseason and what he watched and what he wants to get better at.
And then everybody else there was super jelly when we got selected to go out and do a one-on-one. Oh, I have no idea. I just projecting feelings onto them.
We did get called out privately out of the media room.
We got to go back into the basketball area to conduct our exclusive. I felt like 60 minutes. I really did.
We also got to step out on the court and watch the last couple of minutes of guys shooting after practice on the cool down. Anything jump out to you? You saw Ace Bailey in person for the first time. You saw Walt Clayton Jr. for the first time in person. It's the first time I've ever seen them on the court. I saw him at the press conference, but
I mean, I'm no shot expert by any means, but Ace seems to have a smooth stroke. There's no kind of obvious. I mean, he's not Ronnie Brewer.
Yeah,
I
it's
guess,
not all over the place. It looks the
no.
same every time it comes out of his hand.
Yeah, which I think a little thinner.
He's thin
than I thought.
He is only 200 pounds. He's thin.
He probably could use, I don't know, like 10 or 15, maybe?
At least, yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's, as we discovered last year, not going to happen his rookie season. So don't get me wrong. I don't think he's going to be pushed around, but he is thinner than I thought.
He's 10 pounds lighter, but almost identical measurements to Taylor Hendricks coming out of college. Taylor, I think, has more natural, just kind of sculpted shoulders, broader shoulders. Ace doesn't have the broadest shoulders in the world, so I don't think he's going to look exactly like Taylor as he beefs up, but I think Ace is going to get a lot bigger, and that'll be a key part of his transition, which will change a lot about his game.
I hate that, this is always going to be a topic now with this guy, but you know what? He had a smile on his face the whole time.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're just joking around. Keontae George was out there in slides and kind of having fun.
Razzing everybody.
Yeah.
Hanging out.
And, in a, cool locker room practice kind of way. And the vibe was good.
Yes, the vibe was good.
The vibe wasn't, I've been kidnapped by an NBA franchise.
Yeah.
The vibe was pretty good. So, it was interesting to watch. A couple things. I like Walt Clayton's hair very much.
Okay.
And I knew I was going to, but
Okay.
it in person, I confirmed
He's got the curls.
he's got good hair.
Yeah.
And then I love his accent.
Okay.
I mean, he does. He has a very southern accent.
He's from Florida, right?
Yeah. And I love it.
Ace Bailey also has a accent that comes out in funny places. In like specific words he says. They Jazz did like kind of a walk and talk with him, and he was talking about the Vers in Salt Lake, which is views, but you'll hear it. It comes out in some funny spots.
Now, if they spend a lot of time here, here's what I want to know, okay? Because this is what happened to my dad. Because my dad is from the very eastern part of Virginia, and my grandmother has an accent. My grandfather did. And here in Utah, my dad sounds like a Utahn. Mm-hmm. But as soon as he gets off the plane,
Code switches. Yeah.
in Virginia, all of a sudden it's y'all this and y'all that.
Oh,
and
that's funny.
Yeah, it's really funny in an endearing way, of course. Yeah. So I want to know if their accent fades while they're in Utah.
Okay.
But
Comes back.
minute they're back in Florida, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's what I've observed in my own personal life.
But we didn't talk to Ace. We were out talking to Isaiah when Ace sat down and talked. We did talk to Walt Clayton. You can find that on KSL Sports on Twitter and Instagram and everywhere. I just think it's an interesting group of young players. I thought Walt Clayton actually had pretty good size. He looked. Now again, you mentioned Keontae George was in slides and Walt Clayton was in basketball shoes. But I think he's taller than Keontae. I think he's certainly bigger than Isaiah, height-wise, which helps. Every little bit helps. I had a question in a mailbag I put out asking why is Walt Clayton going to be different than Trey Burke or Shane Larkin or Shabazz Napier. Like, he's legitimately 3 inches taller than all of those guys. It's a big difference.
But honestly, he might not be.
No, he might not. He might be the exact same, like, small guard who had a great run in March.
Sure.
And had a good college career and didn't break through. And yeah, absolutely. That's what you get at 18. You don't get that guy at 3, hopefully. But yeah, you get that guy at 18 and you hope that he bucks that trend and is Fred VanVleet or is Jalen Brunson or is Jameer Nelson.
Turns out to be different.
Yeah. But it's a sliding scale. Yeah, and it falls apart quickly.
That's why trading up to get Burke at 9 was
a risk.
A risk.
Yeah.
If Walt turns out to be Trey Burke and you picked him at 18, all right.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah.
Right.
It's you move on. You move on with life. Top 10 picks are really, really valuable, depending on the year, of course. And Trey's year was not strong.
Horrendous.
Yeah. Was
specifically in the top 10.
Not strong. But there's a chance he could be that. Absolutely. One thing, though, he will get the chance to step in and compete. Mm-hmm. These guard positions are not set in stone at all.
No, I've been told that Keontae is having a great summer, and they're excited about him, and he's shown some growth, and I think it's good. I actually thought yesterday just kind of being out on the court the way he was showed growth. Maturity, leadership stuff is another area where Keontae, I think, has some chops and can get better, can get a lot better. There are times when I have really liked his kind of, I don't want to say body language, and there are times when it seems like, he's just a very young person still. So growing there, I think, would be beneficial for him. But yes, absolutely. You cleared out Jordan Clarkson and Colin Sexton, and you're just going to put everyone out there and say, go win a job, because they shouldn't be married to anyone on this roster at this point.
It shows, well, I don't know. I'm trying to think, because, yes, I thought it was a nice thing that he was out there talking to those players in particular and in the manner that he was.
Yeah.
I cannot help but think, and this is me because I'm a sick person, that they said, hey, we're going to let the bozos in now. So why don't you go over there and
chat
and chat and smile a little bit. But honestly, even that is fine, though. Like, go over there and do it. It shows you're listening. You're coachable. You're on board. You're all pulling in the same direction. Yeah, I'll go chat up the rookies. And I see Ben's got his phone out. So let's make sure I slide into that exclusive for KSL Sports. I don't know how genuine that is. But again, I'm a pretty sick person. Those players in particular were set up right in front of us. No way that's an accident.
That is always where they put Lowry. That is always where they put kind of the show pony.
Yeah, on purpose.
Yeah, they're probably true.
Right.
You're
so
right. Keontae's not, or Lowry's never buried on the far court. There's 4 courts, just so people, or 4, and there's like 12 baskets, but there's 4 real baskets, 2 full courts that they play on in the practice facility. And we're in the far right corner.
Yeah.
And that's always where they put.
And Austin Ainge kind of bounced over to chat. Danny Ainge walked by.
Only we saw Danny, though.
Hello.
Yeah.
Justin was there. I mean, it was a thing. They wanted us to get a certain impression, and we did. It was very much there. And good for Keontae. Go over there and show a little leadership. Go make it happen.
Yeah. He's been around. He's been at the press conference. He went out to dinner with all the young guys as well. So
or tease on our exclusive with Isaiah Collier. He's been in town.
Yeah,
he's been here, which is interesting. Now he did say he took a vacation or whatever.
Go hang out with your parents for a little bit.
Everybody's got to get out of town after an NBA season. There's no doubt, but he's been here in the building making it happen, which I think is a good sign. And he probably knows he's competing too. Walt, George, Isaiah, they're all going toe-to-toe for minutes on this team.
All of these guys are trying to win this job because the first person to just lay claim to it, I think, is going to have it. If Walt Clayton's just better than you are, you're going to lose your job, and then you're going to be on the way out. Because there's not room, I don't think, for 3 of these guys. Because they're all probably point guards. Keontae's a little too small to be a full-time shooting guard.
Oh, I think they all are. I'm pretty comfortable.
Isaiah Collier is clearly just a point guard. And Walt Clayton, as much as he, I asked him about it yesterday, what position do you play or where they have you play? He's like, I'm doing both. And he does do a little bit of both. But he even said, look, at Iona, I was a point guard. And then I played a little off ball in my junior year at Florida. And then I went back to being a point guard last year. He's a point guard. That's going to be his goal.
With Keontae, listen, if he guarded like he was 6'7", like somebody like Lou Dort, if he guarded way above his size, maybe you could think about him sliding over to the 2 on a consistent basis, but he doesn't. So you're going to have to hide him at the 1.
And I think
think his game's got to adjust to that or not, but that's,
And I think the Jazz want Ace Bailey to be there too. Because the one you said he was thin, he's not short.
He is not short.
He is really tall.
No.
He looks tall. He plays tall.
Oh, he's got a basketball build.
He rebounds tall. He's got an elite build.
He's not Kevin Durant, and no offense to old KD, but it's not Beanpole when he got into the league. It's not Gordon Hayward.
Right.
He does not have the little kid look. He is just a little thinner than
just thin.
Was anticipating. That's it.
But yeah, absolutely. He's not Corey Brewer. He's not that guy who's never going to put on weight. He just looks like an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
Which is everything we've heard is he's every part of 18.
Man, to be 18 again.
It'd be crazy. It'd be a weird world to be living in. So, but he seems excited to be on the court and be around. So, No, I thought it was nice to go and check out practice for a little bit.
It's the reason just picking him at 5, regardless of the circus, was the right idea. And not to honk my own horn, but it's basically what I said the whole time. He has to come. He's going to come. He will work with the franchise. It's in everybody's best interest. And if the Jazz are smart, and we saw maybe an example of this, they'll welcome in the circus a little bit because it's an 18-year-old and he's got relationships and that come from somewhere, and you want the 18-year-old to succeed. And so figure out a way to make him comfortable. That's the point. This is a person who is 18 and has been plucked out of their childhood and dropped into Salt Lake City, Utah as a very young person. Whose mom moved out with them for a long time?
Yeah, Taylor's mom's had been here for a little bit.
Whatever you've got to do to be comfortable. And I'm sure the Jazz leaned into that. And if you have to lean into Omar Cooper for a period of time or whatever, well, figure out a way to make it work. We laugh about what's T. Morant? What's Jaw's dad's name?
Yeah, T.
Like how annoying it would be to deal with that.
Yeah.
And maybe Memphis has gone too far in dealing with it.
Yeah.
And like Indiana drew a line with Tyrese Halliburton's dad, and I thought it was absolutely appropriate. But at the same time, you got to figure out a way to make your players comfortable so they can be pulling in the right direction doing what they're going to do to get better. Kyle Korver lived with all his brothers.
Yeah. You mentioned that the Jazz were indulging in already some. That was in the way of Omar Cooper Jr. So I incorrectly reported, and I'm going to let myself off the hook because I was told this is who it was, but it was somebody else. Omar Cooper Jr., who is Omar Cooper, who is the manager that everyone has been worried about. His son, who is, I believe, a twin with Sharif Cooper.
The basketball player.
The basketball player.
Right.
Maybe he's not a twin, but anyways, a son.
Brother,
but I heard
brother,
the brother. And the son of Omar Cooper Jr. was out there shagging balls for the Jazz. He was grabbing rebounds and passing them back to players shooting threes, and some Jazz fans, I think, I reported it yesterday. A lot of us reported it yesterday. Got rattled by the idea that the Jazz were handing over the franchise. It lacks context. This kid wasn't talking. This kid wasn't doing anything other than grabbing a ball and passing it to the shooters.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, did the snap talk?
Yes, freaked out.
Freaked out a little.
First of all, it's his son. It's not Omar Cooper Sr.
And even if it was Omar, who cares?
But it's Omar Cooper Jr.
Honestly, somebody's shagging balls. Yeah, whatever.
And he's trying to make it at McNeese State where he has played basketball previously. Trying to make it as a general manager, coach, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah, GA.
So you give that guy an internship or whatever you want to call it.
You give him a couple of shirts and you let him come in and grab rebounds. Yeah.
No, who cares? Yeah. Whatever makes your player comfortable to operate as a professional basketball player at a very young age. And I know some examples probably come to mind of actually signing players in with the intention of making the young player feel more comfortable.
Joe Ingles, Eric Paschal, D. Brown, Roger Powell. People know John Stockton's sister was the quote-unquote trainer for the Utah Jazz for a while? Wonder how that happened.
Strange.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. The D. Brown one was funny because that was actually Darren's second year.
Yes, right.
And D. Brown was a second-round pick, and I stole that press conference.
Did you?
I did. Okay. I stole that introductory press conference because it was all very stuffy and people were asking questions. And somebody had asked, they were asking just benign questions. And I just, like one-liner when it was my turn, said, "What did Darren tell you about Jerry?" That's all I said.
Yeah.
And he just goes, and then didn't answer. And
question.
It was it was all anybody ran.
That's funny.
That whole day. That I will always remember that press conference because D. Brown won the star that day, Ben.
Jake Scott was.
Who was the first round pick? Because D was the second round pick.
The Jazz might have traded it to get Darren Williams.
Yeah, we'd have to look into that. I can't remember. I think they did. There was somebody else there. But D. Brown was kind of a big focal point because he was Darren Williams' backcourt mate at Illinois. And he had a big personality. I don't know if you remember
course.
him. But
Yeah, of
he had a huge personality.
Ronnie Brewer.
Oh, there you go.
That was a good draft because they got Paul Millsap at 47. That's all that matters. Ronnie Brewer wasn't very good. D. Brown was terrible. Paul Millsap was A+.
A home run, as they say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew there were others there. Old Ronnie and his weird elbow shot.
Yeah.
Who was a fine player. He started for a couple of years for the Jazz.
Yeah.
Stood in the dunker spot.
Didn't get guarded by Kobe famously. It kind of ended his career.
Well, it probably should have.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was interesting to go over there to practice, and certainly interesting to watch him shoot. We saw Cody Williams a little bit down in the distance, him shooting. I tried. It was too far away for me to make an accurate assessment in my own brain as to how much weight he's put on.
But he does look a little bigger. He certainly looks a little bigger.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it a little more up close.
Yeah, and we will.
But he was
Coming
shooting
up
it
on
well.
Saturday night.
He was putting it in the hoop.
Yeah.
All right. We've got top 3 stories of the day, KSLSports.com. Coming up next, it's Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The sports you love, the teams you can't live without.
Get a sense of urgency!
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It's time to break down the biggest stories of the day. This is the top 3 stories of the day on KSLSports.com. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Okay, Lloyd, I'll do the training. Oh, man.
You got a training to do?
I'm sure many, but.
Phishing scams and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but, Lloyd is just all over me about this whole thing. Likely because there are people all over him, but you know how these things go, Ben.
Absolutely.
It's time for the top 3 stories of the day. It's really a game everyone enjoys, the training game. Top 3 stories of the day at KSLSports.com, brought to you by J. Brooks Jewelers. Cherish your love with J. Brooks Jewelers. Explore their expertly crafted engagement rings made from the finest materials. J. Brooks Jewelers. Parker is filling in today for Christian as his mandatory sentence continues.
Well, stop breaking the laws.
We're kidding, of course. Christian's on vacation. He'll be back. I don't know. When is he coming back again?
Next week.
Oh, I thought it was next month.
August.
Oh, I totally misheard that.
We'll see what the probation officer says.
All right, Parker, where are we starting today?
The Jazz are going to be beginning the Summer League here on Saturday.
Starting Saturday.
At the Huntsman Center.
At the Huntsman Center.
Let's, if you show up at the Delta Center thinking like I'm here for some sweet Summer League action, you're in the wrong place.
Or you're in the right place because you can just jump on the train. I think it's the Red Line. Go straight up.
Oh, Jamil was
Center.
telling me yesterday there's some controversy with that the Red Line has been
Hijacked?
not operational.
What?
That's what he was telling me.
Well, that would be bad.
Because Jamil who's going to be producing the whole thing. Locke and Boone are going to do play-by-play.
Yes, they are.
So Jamil's going to be producing, and he's concerned about parking.
So if you are wondering, hey, is there anyone I should watch? Obviously, you want to see Ace Bailey, and you want to see Walt Clayton Jr., and you want to see John Tonji. You want to see the Jazz players. Saturday night is probably the best matchup because they will be playing the Philadelphia 76ers, including VJ Edgecombe, who was the number 3 overall pick.
Yeah.
You probably saw him at Baylor. So that's the biggest star power that you are going to see. Let me pull up the schedule because I want to make sure I've got the right days that the Jazz are playing. Who on Monday, because they're taking Sunday off, obviously, the Jazz are going to host the Memphis Grizzlies, and that will feature Cedric Coward, who the Grizzlies traded up to grab. So there'll be a lottery pick there. They traded with the Portland Trailblazers on draft night. And then the Jazz will host the Thunder on Tuesday night. All of these games are at 7 p.m. And the Thunder have Nikola Topic, who was drafted in the lottery last year. So there is lottery talent with every opponent the Jazz will be playing. But certainly, I think the premier night, Saturday night, will be maybe the most engaging.
This is a good year for the Salt Lake Summer League. Like for the reasons you just put out there, this is a good year to get your tickets and go to the Huntsman Center.
Totally agree. Again, they're going to be on, every Jazz game will be on K-Jazz. Saturday night will be on ESPN. Monday night will be on NBA TV. Tuesday night will be on NBA TV. And then it gets only better when you go down to Vegas because the Jazz are going to play Con Knippel in their first game in Charlotte, they had drafted 4 guys in the top 35. That's Friday. Sunday, not a big deal. They're playing Golden State. Doesn't have anyone on it. Monday night, they're playing San Antonio, Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey's teammate. And then Wednesday night, they are playing the Washington Wizards and Trey Johnson. So outside of Cooper Flagg, Jazz fans get a chance to watch their team play against all top 6 players drafted other than Ace Bailey, who plays for your team. So it's very cool.
Well, Saturday, let me ask it this way. How many chances are we going to get to see the older Jazz players in Summer League? Like Bryce Sensabaugh, how many games is that guy going to play?
Bryce is only playing in Salt Lake.
Yeah, right. And maybe a game, right? Wouldn't you think? I mean, they haven't said that. I'm speculating.
I was told that they want these guys to play as much as possible. So I won't be surprised if Bryce gets a lot of burn. He should dominate. Honestly, Bryce is at that point.
Dominate.
He should be cooking these dudes.
Yeah.
Keontae did not shoot well last year in the Summer League. And didn't he shoot 20 free throws? I think he shot like 36 free throws over 2 games. It was something crazy like that because no one could stay in front of him. Bryce should play. He should be the best player on the floor.
I mean, he gets lost a little bit, but he had a good year last year.
He had an extraordinary year.
Yeah.
I mean,
he
Bryce
had a good year last year.
Among the top now 8 young players on the Jazz roster, which is the 3 players they drafted 2 years ago, 3 players last year, and now I guess even John Tonji, even though he's not young. Let's say just the 2 first-rounders this year. Like Bryce is in the upper half of those players.
Absolutely.
Bryce is easily in the top 4 or 5.
I agree.
Of those guys.
All right, what's next?
The Lakers have added a much-needed big man at center with DeAndre Ayton.
Oh, I disagree. I don't know if anyone needs DeAndre Ayton.
Look out. Look out. LeBron has been appeased, and the Lakers are title contenders once again.
Let me steal this quote that I read in The Athletic, which was slightly concerning.
Look
I apologize. The Portland Trailblazers could live with DeAndre Ayton missing shots or his man scoring on him, neither of which is good. Why are you living with that? Those are bad. Don't live with that. He said they could even live with him being limited to injuries to 55 and 40 games in his 2 seasons in Portland. But in the end, they couldn't live with his bad ways. The tardiness to team flights and practices, according to a team source. The skipping of rehab appointments. Fans saw him slam chairs when he was taken out of games. And a team source said there were tantrums in the locker room when he was sidelined for poor effort.
Ben,
why could you live with any of that?
He missed a game because of an icy driveway. He had an icy driveway, and his solution was, I don't know how I'm going to get there.
Staying home from work.
Not like, I'll do whatever I can to get there.
Not, I'm going to walk to the top of the hill and get an Uber.
Or whatever. I remember it was a particularly icy time in Portland that doesn't have a lot of ice.
And it's hilly. It is.
Whatever, but you're the star of the Blazers.
You're the former number 1 overall pick. You find a way to get there. Yeah, you walk up the hill and you get an Uber. Or you have someone from the team come and get you. They have low-level interns whose job is to do whatever.
And he's like, no, I'm going to stay home.
Okay, DeAndre.
Okay. I mean, imagine that in Los Angeles. I mean, this is going to be really something. I'm pretty interested to see how it goes.
It's a circus. It's going to be a circus.
There's no way the sommelier is going to end up playing this guy.
I don't think it's going to go
you know what I mean?
Smoothly. At the very least, I don't think it's going to go smoothly.
The sommelier is going to Jackson Hayes him, right?
He very well might. Yeah, he very well might.
Make LeBron play center again.
We've seen unserious big men have success playing with the right types of guards. Remember, JaVale McGee, I think, won a title as the starting center for the Golden State Warriors? Just by being like, I'm huge, I catch lobs, I take it seriously sometimes. DeAndre Ayton is not even that. He doesn't even have the ability to channel that. I don't think he can get into that role of being like, okay, I'm next to LeBron, I'm next to Luka, let me dial in, revive my career, and go get a next huge paycheck. I don't trust him to do that. I don't think he has the maturity to do it.
No. No. Remember the Suns, what did they do? They didn't even they didn't pick up his option, right?
They signed him. They matched the deal from the Pacers.
As a restricted
gave him a max
free agent.
deal, and then traded him for new Jazz man Yusuf Nurkic.
So I mean, he's made a lot of hay on he was the center when the Suns went to the NBA Finals, right? Made a lot of hay off that. And he tried occasionally during that playoff run. And it's got him this far, Ben. I don't think it's going to get him much further. I think it's funny that the Lakers had to sign him to a 2-year deal. That's how little leverage the Lakers have.
They needed somebody.
They had to sign him to a 2-year deal. Is the second year I need to look into it? Is it a
Player option?
It's a player option.
That's even more leverage. Yeah, he's got more leverage.
You're the Lakers. Portland just cut him. Portland, a team that actually is trying to develop and get they're trying to win games. Not that they're there, but they're trying to build it. They're trying to take steps forward. They could use a young big. And they said, we would rather you not be here than you be here.
Phoenix desperately needs a center. They just traded 2 first-round draft picks to get a center and used their top 10 pick to draft another center. They had DeAndre Ayton, and they said, this guy, we can't win with this guy.
This guy's killing us.
Portland got him. And what did they do in the very next draft? They drafted a center with a top 10 pick again. Everybody drafts over top of him because he is terrible. And because not only is he bad on the court, he makes your life worse.
He's a young person who hasn't grown up yet.
A lot of people are letting this quote circulate again. It's one of his issues. DeAndre Ayton talking to Luka, because now they're teammates again, but remember they were in the same draft.
Yeah.
And the quote was, on draft night, DeAndre Ayton tells Luka, I play Fortnite 24/7, bro. I don't sleep at night. We're going to play. Oh, right. Video game guy.
He's going to develop a weight problem. What do you bet me?
All of these guys play video games, which, you know what? That's great. Go home.
Oh, that's not a bad outlet.
Unwind. Yeah. Stay in. Whatever. That's fine. Don't go out after the game for 5 hours. Go home and be near your bed and your dog and whatever you do. But if it's all you do, which might be the problem with DeAndre Ayton, it becomes an issue.
It's Kyler Murray's problem,
Murray.
right? No, the thing is, it's like compulsive behavior can be a negative, right? And compulsive behavior can manifest itself in a variety of different ways. And I absolutely know people who have had video game problems.
Yeah.
Anecdotal evidence, I know, but I have known those humans that truly were doing damage to their lives because they were playing so many video games, And if, in Kyler Murray's case, and not to get lost in the weeds on all this, but in Kyler Murray's case, you could check his performance based on, God, what was it?
Fortnite releases, when they released the new Call of Duty.
Was it Call of Duty?
When they would release the new games or the new chapters or whatever, it'd be like, oh, he's been up all night.
He had a bad game. Yeah, he was played terribly. It's like, oh, he hasn't slept in 3 days. Like any compulsive behavior can certainly do damage. But I think video games, as far as an outlet or a pastime, we asked Isaiah Collier what he likes to do in his downtime. That's not a bad way to spend your downtime. It just when it becomes all of your time.
And the problem with DeAndre is he's 7 years into the league now. And you look at his averages, 16.5 points, 10.5 rebounds, block a game, which should be better, but 59% from the floor. You're like, that's good. That's fine. And he looks at those numbers and says, guys, I'm good.
Yeah.
My numbers are good. I'm getting contracts.
And I was the number one
And I was the number one overall pick. I'm a max guy.
You know whose numbers those are? Enes Kanter.
Yeah, exactly right.
Those are Enes Kanter's numbers.
Yeah, an unserious, raw, talented player who doesn't care about getting better and doesn't take it seriously on the floor and doesn't do anything that actually helps you win, but does help his numbers because it helps him get a contract.
Enes was a savvy, lazy rebounder. His rebounds were, you'd look at him on paper and go, oh, okay, this guy knows how to rebound.
Pretty good.
And he did not play that way.
Yeah.
He was not a Paul Millsap-like rebounder.
Right.
But because he was so big and would get some easy rebounds, his numbers would look good. And you know what? If you have any skill at all as a 7-footer, you can score 16 points.
Yes.
That's not a really difficult thing to do.
Right.
But if you get beat all the time on the defensive end, you're not going to last in the league very long. But you know what Enes Kanter got?
Max deal.
A max deal.
Yep.
A max extension.
Yep.
So we've seen this player before.
You're exactly right.
So think of this. The Lakers are getting Enes Kanter post Oklahoma City.
Yeah, right. Yeah. The good one.
Oh, it's going to go fantastically well. And that attitude and LeBron's attitude probably are going to be some waves. And then Luka and DeAndre are going to be friends. And then next thing you know, DeAndre's vaping and drinking vodka all
And
night.
they weigh a combined 600 pounds.
Yeah. Bad
All right,
news.
What's next?
New jazz man Yusuf Nurkic gets introduced to the media.
Talked to him this morning. You heard it with DJ. You can go find it at KSLSports.com. You know what? He honestly sounded pretty enthusiastic to be here. I think after being
It's not Charlotte.
It's not Charlotte and it's not Phoenix, which
Yeah.
have both been really pretty dysfunctional locker rooms in the last couple of years. I think being here where he's going to have a defined role. He said he hasn't talked about that at all. And hasn't heard from Will on that. They've talked to Will, but haven't talked about minutes or anything. He's going to be the backup center. He's going to play some veteran minutes for the Jazz. He's going to pass the ball around. And he seemed excited about being in a kind of a quiet town. He's got a family, just hanging out. Drinking coffee, he said.
Going from Phoenix, where it's a spicy locker room because the old maid's unhappy. And you remember they were trying to go through the whole thing where they were trying to make the old maid unhappy, so he would waive his trade clause and they could get him out of there. And he was so unhappy that he wanted to make them unhappy, so he said, not a chance.
Right. Yeah, they tried to bench him to get him to opt out.
Could you imagine living through all that and going through that? You're like, okay, well, just trade me. Just
And then he
trade
was
me
catching
anywhere.
strays for a couple of reasons.
Because
One,
he's the problem.
yeah, because they needed a center, and Yusuf Nurkic is not that level of center anymore. He's not a championship player. And he also reflected, with all due respect to Yusuf, a failure of DeAndre Ayton, who we were just talking about, right? A number 1 overall pick, who didn't turn into the guy. And the result is you get Yusuf Nurkic. And on top of it, like, some notorious incidents on the court, like Draymond Green slapping him in the face.
So he's got that going on in Phoenix. He gets traded. He's probably like, oh, okay, wherever.
Anywhere but here.
Anywhere.
Where am
is
I
fine.
going?
And then he ends up in Charlotte. And honestly, we don't cover that team, but heaven knows what kind of locker room has been created in Charlotte. Yeah. In that vast vacuum of basketball anything for a decade plus, who knows what's going on in that locker room?
Well, to the point where they had 4 draft picks in the top 35, and they made the most conservative draft picks you could, including Con Knippel overall, which you have said was a PR stunt, and I totally agree, because they just want people to come in and win the locker room, right? They want to win a press conference, because they haven't even had that in a very long time.
Absolutely. And, I mean, whatever is allowing, which ball is it? LaMelo to play like he played at historic usage rates.
Right.
Like historic ball hoggedness. And whoever's allowing that to happen, I'm sure it was a disaster. So, yeah, I bet this morning was Yusuf's like, great.
Fine.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Young players, old players, I don't care as long as it's not that.
As long as that's
What a
those guys.
disaster
Yeah.
in Phoenix. We're going to try and make this player unhappy. That is our goal. We're going to try and make this player so miserable that he will just throw up his hands and allow us to try and move off his contract. And it had the opposite effect.
Yeah, right. It just made everything worse.
Bradley Beal's like, I'm digging in my heels. I'm staying here. I bought a condo, dude.
Bought 2 condos. I'm never leaving.
Wintertime, Phoenix? Yep.
Yeah, this is great for me.
This is for me.
This is where my wife wants to be. This is where my kids are happy.
So take that.
Yeah, I'm making $50 million. Life
I'm
is
not
good.
going anywhere.
Yeah, trade me. No trade clause.
Oh, man.
Agree to a trade. I don't care.
All right. That is funny. All right, more next. It is Jake and Ben. Again, we're going to play Isaiah Collier coming up probably around 11:10, so stay tuned for that. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Whether it's the Jazz, Utes, Cougars, or Aggies, these guys have got you covered.
Time to eat, fellas.
You're locked on to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson
1, 2, 3, move it.
on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. Quick update to a story we talked about yesterday, Ben.
Puff Daddy?
No.
Oh.
No.
Wait, did you celebrate? Are you celebrating 4th of July tomorrow, or are you celebrating the several not guilty results from P. Diddy's trial?
No, I would be celebrating the former.
Okay.
the independence of this great country.
Okay.
No,
But July 5th is Diddy Day.
Diddy's
at Jake's
well-being
house.
is not my highest priority.
It's probably going to be free for the 4th.
The red panda is out of the hospital.
Okay.
She has a broken wrist.
Yeah. Did you see the video?
I did. I could only watch it once.
Yeah, but it wasn't. Who was it? Kevin Ware
Oh,
at Louisville.
yeah,
it wasn't.
no,
it wasn't a
that.
compound fracture.
No, it wasn't that.
But even then, we have McAfee up as we always do, the pit, and they showed her in their studio because she had gone and performed for them in studio at some point. And I've seen her several times. The way she dismounts the unicycle every time looks dangerous. There's not an easy way to fall 7 feet to the ground. There's not a smooth way to do it, especially at her age, which I will speculate is somewhere between 30 years old and 60 years old.
It's a wide gap.
Well, I'm trying to be generous.
It's a wide gap.
But at that point, you can't be taking a lot of those falls. And she took a stumble and broke her wrist. So.
Well, that happens a lot, right? She's catching herself or whatever.
Yeah. But you know what? She doesn't need her wrists. Unicycles don't have handlebars, and she's flipping plates with her legs. So she can be back out there today if she wants to be.
Oh, you mean like a linebacker that clubs up the cast or
put
whatever?
The club on.
Yeah, go for it. It's the red panda. She's not soft. Come on, get the club on.
Got gigs to play.
And get out there and make it happen. I have no idea what a halftime act costs these days.
$5,000.
Is that right?
At her peak, Red Panda, the NBA halftime acrobat, this is from our friends at AI Overview, which I think is artificial intelligence, reportedly earned $5,000 per performance. This was our friend Darren Ravel, who everyone beloved.
She should up her rates, man.
Other halftime performers earn between $2,000 and $3,000. But I wonder if that probably doesn't include travel. You probably got to get there.
Oh, it's got to include travel. Come
you
on.
would think?
They
think they fly you in?
Sure.
Maybe. Put you up?
I mean, it's the NBA. Come on now.
It's a halftime show.
You're putting on a world-class event.
Are you? Half the time it's like high school dance companies.
No, they do that's the pregame.
Every once in a while they're like, we're jazz dancers today.
Yeah, that's when
Did someone no-show?
No, that's when like the bubble guy got sick.
Yeah, okay. You're right. Quick change is having a bad
Yeah,
night.
that happens in this business of show.
Okay.
So then that's why you have the pregame acts. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, you guys get to do something, but if somebody gets injured or sick, you get to really do something.
$5,000. The NBA season is 6 months long. She probably performs 2 or 3 times a week. At least. Yeah, she might be pumping out $40,000 a month.
That's pretty good.
For 6 months, though. It's only half the year. She's like a teacher.
Yeah, but she's doing
She might be making a quarter mil.
She's appearing at state fairs and stuff, I'm
You're
sure,
right.
in the off
She's
season.
not just doing the NBA.
No.
She's showing up other places. She might be raking in pretty good 6 figures.
Dude, if you told me the Red Panda was at the Utah State Fair, I'm going to that fair.
Buying dicks.
I'm going to that fair. I'm getting a funnel cake.
Maybe she'll be at Big 12 Media Day.
I'm going to do the tilt-a-whirl, and I'm going to watch the Red Panda.
Yeah.
Maybe go check out the Blue Ribbon Hog.
I bet, like all NBA players, she's more impressive up close. I bet once you see the height of that unicycle,
You're
like
like,
we were talking
hey.
about how cool X Games was, when
Yeah.
you see how big the jumps actually are. Red Panda's up there. She is skying.
All right, stay tuned.
I'm excited for Big 12 Media Day, though.
Yeah, that's coming up on, Tuesday. We're going to be live from Big 12 Media Day Tuesday, July 8th, and then Wednesday the 9th. Our coverage is brought to you by Window World, nationally known, locally owned. Call Window World for free quotes on windows, doors, and siding today. And yeah, we're very much looking forward to it. You and I will be here basically waiting for somebody to drop the ball.
Listening to PK. We're going to be here listening to PK talk.
Just PK? Because, Alex is going to be down there.
Have you been to Media Day?
And Hans is going to be down there. I have been to many Media Day, actually. Yeah. No, you have a point. All right, stay tuned. Heaven,
PK. No, I'm glad they're going down there.
Heaven help us if Dilly stops by.
Yeah.
It's going to be fanboy central. Stay tuned. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Who's got it better than us?
Your home for the best sports coverage in Utah. You're listening to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Lloyd was in here during the break. I should have told him. Like, it is so cold in here, my nose is running.
Lloyd doesn't show up until later in the show, though, so it's much warmer by the time he gets in here because the heater's been blasting.
My nose is literally running. It shouldn't be.
No, we're indoors.
It really shouldn't be. We're not hanging meat in here. Ben, let's set up our interview, our exclusive, if you will. We ambushed him in the parking lot and put a microphone in his face. Isaiah Collier. Let's talk a little bit about his role. The guards have kind of been a theme on the show today, talking about old Walt and Keontae out there. We saw them at practice yesterday. Keontae just in slides, but Walt was taking jumpers and looking good. Cool hair and all. But how this guard thing is, this battle royale is going to work out.
So I get the impression that the center position is set. I think this is Walker's job for the foreseeable future. And whether he signs a contract this summer or next, Walker's going to be here. And I know Lowry's here now. I really don't expect Lowry to be here 3 years from now or 2 years from now. But I think you're looking at Taylor, Hendricks. You're looking at Kyle Filipowski. I think you've got some guys that will be in the front court with him. Wings, who knows? But you just drafted Ace Bailey. You've got Cody Williams in the wings. Like you're trying to find some of these guys to step up. And, you know, you may still have to replace them next year with an A.J. DiBonza or a Cam Boozer, and one of those guys takes a front court spot or wing spot. The point guards, while they have lots of bodies, which was the main motivation, I think, for you know, to put it kindly, dumping Colin Sexton and Jordan Clarkson, so they have Isaiah Collier, Keontae George. They've got Walt Clayton Jr., who we just talked about. I mean, they had 7 guards. They had way too many. They're trying to trim that down to 4 or 5 to get a sense of who can actually play. And even then, it feels wide open to me. Like, if you were to tell me in 2 years none of these guys are the guy, that wouldn't totally shock me. So I think they all recognize that and are going to be chomping at the bit to win the job.
Which I think is healthy. I think we both know, we talked about it quite a bit yesterday, what Collier has to do to win the job. And he does talk about that a little bit in the interview. You asked him about getting better shooting the basketball. So let's go ahead and play it. We spent about 7-8 minutes with him and talked about his offseason and what he's getting better at and Summer League. Here's our conversation with Isaiah Collier. Isaiah, tell us a little bit about your offseason.
The offseason's been really well for me so far. You know, just being out here in Utah has been great for me. Being able to just, you know, be around the coaches every day for the last 6, 7, maybe 8 weeks. So, I mean, just working out every day, trying to get better, you know, as a player overall. So that's been the biggest thing for me this summer.
Did you get to go home at all?
Oh, yeah, I went home for a couple weeks, but, you know, sometimes this is home to me now. So, I mean, I like to be, you know, where my actual house is at, so yeah.
So now that you've had a little time to look back on your number one, have you been able to like draw lessons from it, or what stands out to you?
I mean, watching the playoffs was like a huge thing for me, as far as just like the physicality point, as far as just guarding the basketball. For me, I think I could be a way better defender of what I showed in the previous season. And then, I mean, of course, you know, getting down to, you know, making shots is, you know, a big thing for me this summer. So, I mean, just staying consistent in the gym, reps after reps. And I feel like I've came a long way since the offseason started, so I'm excited.
Is it hard to get better defensively in the offseason?
I wouldn't say, I wouldn't say so. I mean,
what do you do? How do you work on it?
I mean, it's guarding the coaches. I mean, I think we have a whole lot of, you know, basketball, you know, people that actually play basketball. So, I mean, that helps where they can move and things like that. So, I mean, it's definitely helpful. And then you got other people that's here as well as far as just players. So, I mean, it's a good thing for us.
I hope this question makes sense, but how do you want to use Summer League? You know, what do you want to use Summer League to accomplish?
It's definitely going to be chemistry with the new, you know, we got new players, you know. I mean, that's the thing. And I think as a whole, it's just to get better individually as a, you know, individually and as a team. So, I mean, that's a, you know, big thing for us going into next season. Of course, our roster looks young right now. So, I mean, I think it's just, you know, going out there and, you know, just competing.
You feel like your jump shot's getting better?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, long days in the gym. So, I mean, I feel like I came a long way since the offseason started.
Is that like getting better at shooting? I mean, I know there's coaching and things, but is it really reps? Is that as simple, you know, get into the gym and make it happen?
I mean, it could be mental reps, physical reps. I mean, for the most part, it's a little bit of both. So, I mean, just staying with it is the biggest thing for me, and just, staying consistent with it.
You're a former Georgia High School Player of the Year. So's Ace.
Yeah.
How well do you know him?
I've seen him play in high school, a lot. Played in the playoffs my senior year. He won that game. So, but it was pretty cool, just being out there with Ace and then seeing where he's at now. He's came a long way. And, the potential, sky's the limit for sure. And he's only 18, so that's the crazy thing about it. So, he has, as he grows in this league, learns the NBA game, I think he could be really well in this league.
You were the top recruit in the country. You know what that pressure's like. Well, what is that? Well, how does that feel to be 18, 19 years old and have those expectations on you?
It's exciting. You playing a game you love to play every single day. So, I don't really see it as pressure. It's just going out there and, being able to, do what you do. So, I don't see it as pressure. There's, of course, going to be ups and downs, throughout the process. But, you just have to accept that and keep going.
So in Summer League, as a second-year guy, you're actually a veteran, right?
Yeah.
You've been there. So what do you tell the first-year guys when they ask you what it's like?
For us, it's just going out there and compete. I don't think the Summer League is, a process to, get better in reps. So, just competing is the main thing for us. There's going to be ups and downs. Like I said, there's going to be times where things go right, things go wrong. But, it's just, staying true to yourself and just playing. So, yeah.
Is there anything you're trying to do differently? This is kind of an opportunity to explore and, try different things in your game that might not make it in the regular season. Is there anything you're hoping to do?
I'm play the game the way I'll play if I was playing, during the regular season for me. So, I think just accepting the PG role is the big thing for me. Communication's a big thing as well. So, going out there, leading the team, and, using my voice, I think will be a big step for me. So, yeah.
What do you like to do with your downtime?
Downtown, I tried a little bit of golf. I'm getting better a little bit. So, it's a process for sure. So, it's just like, it's taking a while, but it is what it is. I'm gonna hire a trainer soon, though. So we'll see where it goes.
Darren Williams had a indoor simulator in his house.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so you can go get your own simulator.
Yeah, I know JC still got his stuff out here too. So the tee box. So.
Speaking of JC, Colin, I bet it was nice as a rookie to have some guys to fall back on, right? Some veterans who just could right the ship if things were going wrong. They're gone now, and that you're kind of the veteran now, and you and Keontae are those guys. What does that role feel like?
It's a blessing, just being able to be in the position. Of course, we're gonna miss Colin, JC, Johnny as well. So it's gonna be a huge step for all of us. A team as a whole, to be honest. And, I don't expect everything to just happen overnight, but, I think we're all learning as well, but also trying to lead at the same time. So, that's a big thing for us. So, I think that's why we've just been working so hard this summer because, it's a huge, season for us coming up, as a team, as a whole. So, I think we're all excited, but we're looking forward to just accepting the role, too. So, yeah.
I'm curious what you think. You mentioned you watched the finals, but about the Thunder being the champions, and because they were a young team, grew together, you could see it year by year and eventually getting a title. What'd you think about that paying off for them?
I think they're really good because the grit they play with, how together the team is. I think it's more so just the physicality point as well too, because they play at a physical style of basketball to the point where it makes the other team uncomfortable. So that's been a huge emphasis for us this summer as well, just being physical and just going out there and competing and not caring who's in front of us and things like that. So yeah.
What have you seen from Flip and Cody in your second year?
Cody and Flip got a lot stronger. I think they had a really good summer this far. It's good to see those steps as far as just from everybody growing through the summer. I think that's a good thing, or chemistry that that helps teams. Just being able to see the process of everybody it's been great. So, I mean, I'm excited for them too. They've got after it this summer. So yeah.
Would you rather bang a long drive or hit a long putt?
Oh, driver for sure. I like to drive. You know, see what I'm saying? See the distance.
Sure. Then you get a flex in front of your friends.
Yeah.
Last one from me. Just you are coming back with these guys, and I know you get to go to dinner with the rookies when they get brought in. It seems like the Jazz are really incorporating you into like the culture. Like they want you to be a face of the franchise. What does that feel like, and what does that mean to you?
I mean, it feels great. I mean, just being able to, you know, welcome them to, you know, Utah. I mean, it's been great so far. So, I mean, just be able to be at dinner with them, just knowing what they've done in their college careers and just building, you know, that bond with them. I think that's really important, you know, as a young basketball team. So, I mean, continue to build on that. That's really important for us.
All right, there's our conversation with Isaiah Collier. Not only insightful about his own game, but it was interesting to hear him talk about Cody and Flip as well.
Didn't see Flip yesterday, but I think he was just on the far corner. I still think he was over by where we were. So I'll be curious to see how he looks. Flip should also play well in Summer League. I mean, he got a lot of playing time last year. So he's a little older than some of these guys, and he should be ready to go.
Yeah, I think you can expect good performances from them. I mean, they walked through the fire a bit last year.
Yeah.
You know, they played. I mean, we were talking about Bryce Sensabaugh earlier in the show. Remember that weekend he had in Florida where he tore up the Heat and the Magic? I don't think, was it a back-to-back or was it a back?
Whatever, it was over the weekend, yes. It was maybe a Friday, Sunday.
I mean, took him to town.
Yeah.
And that's when Miami was trying.
Yes.
And Orlando had their guys, if I remember.
Yep.
And, I mean, he was just fantastic. He should absolutely tear apart Summer League. And we saw great performances from Flip.
Flip had a 30-point, 18-rebound, 5 assists, 3 block, 2 steal game. It's one of the best games you're ever going to get from any rookie. And I know the Jazz were a little bit of a circus last year, but there's talent there that not everyone can do, even if you just give them, you know, the green light to do whatever they want.
And there shouldn't be anybody in the gym who can stand in front of Collier. The tricky thing is that Collier, what he has to work on, and I was trying to ask him about what you get out of from Summer League, is he can beat everybody on the court. Mm-hmm. But that's not what he needs to work on.
Because he can't do it against everybody in the regular season.
No.
And
he especially can't do it if everybody in the regular season is going to go under screens and gap him because they know he's not going to shoot. So his thing, you know, again, the tricky thing with Summer League is not everybody's motivation is the same. I remember Trey Lyles' Summer League. People were kind of getting worked up. His second Summer League, people before he got traded, people were kind of getting worked up that he wasn't, you know, lighting everybody up. And it was like, no, he's working on what they're telling him to wear one specific thing that they gave. Maybe it was his first Summer League because he only played one. So I was down in Vegas during that Summer League, and he wasn't putting up 30, but you know what he was doing? Standing in the corner and shooting threes, which is the only reason the Jazz drafted him.
Yeah,
was for that specific skill. So you never know. I want to see Collier try some off the bounce threes. You know, stuff that would make you cringe during the regular season, but that's the stuff that he should be doing.
Same with Walt Clayton. You know, let Walt go out there and distribute a lot. You know, we know you can shoot, and you're going to be able to do that, and you're going to run some pick and rolls and shoot off of that. That's great, but can you average 5 assists during Summer League?
Yeah, right.
Because if you can do that, you might be able to start at point guard. I think the Jazz are going to let Ace Bailey go crazy, and that's probably what I would do. I would say, let's see where your game is. You know, your ball handling was weird at Rutgers. There was zero spacing. The rest of your team outside of Dylan Harper was, you know, Division III guys. Let's see what you can actually do on the court with NBA spacing, because you're going to have Bryce next to you, and you're going to have Flip next to you, and you're going to have Walter Clayton next to you. Like, you have Steven Crowell, who nobody knows about, but is a, you know, Wisconsin center who can spread the floor. What happens when you have all the space? Can you beat guys?
Well, and also you can tell them, hey, all these people came to see you. You're the show.
Right.
Go be the show.
Go be the show.
Go be the show.
Yeah.
You know, this is the kind of rumor around him is he wanted to be a star. Go be a star. You could be a big star in Utah.
And he does not have the, what's the word I'm looking for? Conscience of a Cody Williams, who you could tell when Cody did something wrong, he kind of, coward is the wrong word, but he kind of shrunk and didn't want to make a mistake the next time. And Will Hardy talked a lot about last year, I just want Sometimes Cody just got to take it. He's just got to go for it. He's just got to be willing to make some mistakes. And he thinks the game so much that he doesn't want to make mistakes. That is not going to be the problem with Ace Bailey. He does not mind his mistakes.
No, okay, so don't get me wrong. Let me see if I can explain this. The word that would come to mind is shame. But I don't mean that to be so negative.
Yeah,
I more mean
yeah.
like, I don't mean like shame in the Game of Thrones,
Correct.
shame and they ring the gong or whatever it was. No, or the bell. Or
publicly disrespected.
No, that's not what I'm getting at. I more mean like every time you saw Jay Crowder shoot, you were like, have you no shame?
Have you none? Yeah.
Have you no shame at all? And Cody Williams had that feeling where he's like, okay, well, I made a mistake or I missed this shot and, I don't want to sink my team necessarily, especially when you're a rookie. You know what I mean?
Yes, right. And there's a lot of veterans around.
Uh-huh.
There are no veterans around anymore.
Honestly, Cody Williams should channel his inner Jay Crowder for this summer league too, if we want to talk about that,
Yeah, being contrite. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Like, hey, we're going to show you some Jay Crowder film. We're going to need you to play more like this, only during summer league.
Yeah. Sense this. No, like I said, I think Ace, and we'll see it on Saturday night. I'm honestly pretty excited to see what he looks like in this environment because it was weird at Rutgers. But what is Ace? I think probably needs 20% more Cody, and Cody needs 80% more Ace.
Okay, I can see what
right.
You're
Like
yeah.
Cody needs to shed some of the shame, and I think Ace could probably use a touch more.
But
be a little more bashful.
But there's a role on this team for somebody with no shame. Like Donovan Mitchell had no shame.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what the team needed. They needed 20 shots. They were missing 20 shots. Yeah. And Donovan said, I'll take them.
Oh, those are out there? I'll take all of those.
I'll take all 20 of those suckers.
Hey, I'm, not that Colin Sexton absolutely marched to the beat of his own drum, right? He was not out of sync with his teammates. Everyone loves Colin, but he's kind of did his own thing. And Jordan Clarkson, as much as he's like a great locker room guy and an awesome culture guy, I'm not sure he's necessarily the culture setter. But the Jazz needs somebody to set a culture, especially with two veterans out of the locker room. And I'll be curious where that goes this year. And that might start to develop right now in Summer League.
I do believe the way Jordan played gave permission to others to try and play that way.
Okay, that's probably fair.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think your guy, Jared Butler, thought, I can go dribble all I want.
I can be JC. I've seen how he does it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keontae the same way.
Want to remind you, nominate the youth sports volunteer for the Hercules Hero of the Week. Submit your nomination at kslsports.com/contest and listen every Thursday afternoon to JJ and Alex for the winner. Help us celebrate the efforts of those volunteers making an impact with the Hercules Hero of the Week, sponsored by Hercules First Federal Credit Union and Beehive Meals. We'll have more Jake and Ben straight ahead, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Whether it's the Jazz, Utes, Cougars, or Aggies, these guys have got you covered.
Time to eat, fellas.
You're locked on to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
1, 2, 3, move it.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Ben, it's Thursday. It's RSL Thursday. RSL take on St. Louis City SC Saturday night at America First Field. A great way to spend some time on the holiday weekend.
Is Diego Luna going to be back? He's taking the soccer world by storm. At a low point in American men's soccer, Diego Luna is on a tear. He has 3 goals in 5 matches, including 3 in the last 2 last night. His Team USA is advancing.
Which is good. It'd be nice if they qualified for a World Cup again.
I would, especially because we're hosting it, right?
Oh, I think you automatically get in if you're hosting.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. And I don't know if this is even a qualifying tournament, but whatever, he's playing well. And RSL's been terrible right now, so good to see them getting a bump. They're not playing great.
I'm trying to think. RSL does have a history of players on the national team playing well. Going back to even like Eddie Pope, if you remember back in those days. So it does bring an extra bit of juice and spotlight to the team when it happens.
He goes on a tear and comes back and is ready to go.
Beckerman played on a World Cup team. I can't remember how much he played.
He may have started.
He started at least some.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, no, that is super cool. So you have a chance to go see RSL coming up on Saturday, 801-575-ZONE.
Game's always fun.
801-575-ZONE. Where is the, do you remember the venues for the World Cup? Where's the nearest one to us?
Not sure. Is it
L.A. or did
LA.
Vegas get a game?
No,
Vegas wouldn't get it.
Even though they did put it in.
Denver, maybe?
No. They put it in Qatar, right? Qatar.
Yeah, they could do it in Vegas.
Yeah, you can do it in Vegas. You can do it in 3 p.m. in Vegas if you want to. Who cares? I can't find it. Oh, here we go. Atlanta, Foxborough, Arlington, Houston, Kansas City, Inglewood, Miami, East Rutherford, Philadelphia, Santa Clara. There's your bet.
East Rutherford?
And Seattle.
East Rutherford, New Jersey?
Yeah. It's where the Jets play.
Okay, yeah. That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
What is that, MetLife or something?
New York, New Jersey Stadium. I may not have a name right now. Or it's just saying, I know it's just saying the names of the cities. These absolutely have names, and they're just not naming them.
So Santa Clara or Southern California?
Yeah, or LA.
That would have been cool to get one of those. But you know what? We'll have to settle for the Olympics.
Yeah.
Tough, I know.
I'd prefer the Olympics. I know some people would prefer the World Cup.
No, Olympics for sure.
Yeah.
Way better than one World Cup. Maybe if you hosted like the World Cup final.
Sure. Or 3 weeks worth of 2 weeks worth of sports, but that's not what you're getting.
No, I can't imagine what value that brings to the city, state, etc. Just being on TV for 2 straight weeks and being the attention of the world. Mm-hmm. That's got to be worth billions, honestly.
The advertising alone, yeah, it's impossible to replace.
I mean, it's why all these dictators bribe so much money to get these Olympics.
Yeah, and we can actually host it because we sometimes have snow.
We often have snow.
Yeah.
In fact, and still have good facilities. Yeah, I'm looking forward to all that. There was a savvy pick by you yesterday on Win Ticket Wednesday to do the Utah Winter Sports Park, which is a good place to go watch. It is fun. They do it right.
And again, we're talking 2002 to 2025. 23 years later, it still feels relevant. And I'm sure it's somewhat outdated compared to some of the new facilities that get built and how they've, figured out technology that makes things easier or better. I'm excited to see what we build in the next 8 years that will last another 20 years beyond that, to see what we bring into our world.
If you did not have a chance to hear Brian Getzeiler with DJ and PK, go give that a listen for a lot of reasons. I mean, he's always great. But one thing he said I thought was pretty interesting, Ben. He thinks the Jazz should really highlight Lauri Markkanen next year to get his value back to where it was and then move him, because the timeline now is Ace Bailey's timeline. And I thought, you know what? I bet you that's the plan.
I very strongly suspect that's the plan.
Because his value isn't now what it was.
Not today, no.
He's not an inexpensive player. He's got a big contract now. Mm-hmm. So you got to get him back to, 25 a night.
Yeah, get him up over 20, get his percentages back up. Look, Lauri was clearly, I don't want to say on board, but understanding of the tank last year. We did not get the best of Lauri. That was not Lauri's best effort. That was not the most focused Lauri we've gotten. That wasn't a Lauri who was checked in to win games and prove something, which I think he was his first 2 years. And look, he wanted to get a contract, and he got it. So good for him in that sense. And then last year was not very good after getting the contract. But I suspect we're going to see a more motivated Lauri this season. And I think the Jazz are going to go out there and say, try to win. And I think he understood last year that was not the goal. The team was not trying to win games last year. And I think Lauri, being a good soldier, understood that and wasn't going out there trying to give it his all. I don't think he was tanking games, but I think he recognized that that's not what the season was about.
And he's not LaMelo Ball. Like, that's not his game where he's going to dribble and put up numbers even though the team stinks. That's not his game. It's not a coincidence that he played his best basketball in a Jazz jersey when Mike Conley was still on the team.
Yes. But he only played 47 games last year.
He'll play more than that.
He will play more than that, I suspect. He did only shoot 42% from the floor, which was a career low. He shot 34% from the three-point line, also a career low. Everything from his history implies that will be up. He only had 5.9 rebounds a game. That's 3 below what he was the year before that, like 4 points less. He will bounce back. I think he'll have a much bigger year. The Jazz need him to carry an offensive load because Colin Sexton carried a big offensive load. Jordan Clarkson carried a big offensive load. That's going to fall now on the shoulders of Lowry. So just by necessity, I think his points per game are going to go up. And then, if he's back up over 23 points a game or whatever, at 7 feet tall, he becomes valuable once again.
You would think so.
Yeah.
And some team, when the calculus changes and think that they have more of a chance than they did before, and a bold move will get them over the top.
Someone in the East says this is wide open.
Somebody like Orlando.
Yeah. And they just traded for Desmond Bane. But yes, to your point, somebody like that.
That's what I'm saying when the calculus changes and they realize Desmond Bane doesn't get them there.
Right. Or Indiana.
Because he won't.
It's like, hey, we've lost Miles Turner. We're going to get Tyrese Halliburton next year. We still need one more thing. Though someone will make a trade, believing they can get back to or get to a championship level.
Right. So, and he's the unicorn. We've talked about it on this show forever. He's huge, and he can shoot.
And by that point, whether it's next year or whatever, the Jazz are going to hope to have some of these young guys pop. You need a couple of these young guys to cement themselves as the future. We've been talking about this a lot because we had Isaiah Collier on the show. And if you missed that, KSLSports.com. But they need Keontae to jump up, or Isaiah to jump up, or Ace to jump up, or Kyle Filipowski to jump up, or Taylor, all these young guys.
Or SVHT.
Whoever, sure. But they need a couple of guys to show up and be like, we're going to be the top of the roster. We're going to be there. Maybe we're not even the number one guy, but we are for sure the number two guy. Or we're for sure the number three guy. But, Walker, I think, is cemented as the starting center. They need somebody to cement their job as either the starting shooting guard or point guard or small forward. And that could be Ace, it could be Isaiah, it could be Keontae, it could be Bryce, whatever. They need a couple of those guys game to elevate, and then you can start making moves to fill in the gaps using Lowry, using future draft picks you have to go out and get the star player to fill in the absence that you don't have right now. But they need the roster to take a little bit more shape before they, start throwing darts at a dartboard that, in the dark.
I wonder when they really want to win. I wonder when that starts.
I think they will win when they feel like they're ready to win.
Well, that's not an answer, but I get what you're saying. Because, Austin H comes in and says, we're going to win. The tank stops now. It's like, no, not really. But I'll tell you, when the Jazz really wanted to win the last time they rebuilt, it was the year before they actually made the playoffs. Does that make any sense? They tried really hard to make the playoffs the year before with, like, Gordon Hayward and came up short because the crowd booed Darren Williams.
Against the Mavericks.
And Darren's like, dude, I was just going to sleepwalk through this game, but if you want me to score 30 and beat you...
You want me to ruin your season?
Yeah, I guess I'll do that.
Yeah.
And so he did, which is still hilarious. And then they did not make the playoffs. Then the next year, of course, they make the playoffs and they beat the Clippers in 7 games and move on to the second round. And then Gordon leaves,
Yeah.
But you knew the year before that how seriously they were taking it. This was our step year, if that makes any sense. And they just happened to not make the playoffs. But that's when it really happened. I don't think we're there.
No.
With this team. I and how far away I think is interesting.
Because that summer, am I right? The one you're talking about, after they tried to win, you're right. They put the pedal to the metal. It was not about just young players anymore. And then even that summer, after they get disqualified and don't make the playoffs, they go out and get George Hill and they get Joe Johnson.
Yes.
I think that's that
No,
summer.
no. Joe Johnson beat the Clippers. He was on the team.
Right, no, that's what I mean. They got it before that year.
Yeah. They got George Hill the next summer.
Right, leading into the year that they really started. Actually, they did make the playoffs, but they tried to win the year before that.
Right.
And then they said, okay, we have an idea. Like, you try to win.
Yeah.
You see how good you are.
Yeah, I get you.
And then you go and fill in the gaps with veterans.
No, your timing's right. You're right about that.
So that's what I think the Jazz will do. They will figure out which of these young players. You knew Gordon was a guy.
Yep.
And you started to get the impression that, like, Derek Favors is probably good enough to help you win now. Maybe Rudy Gobert is going to be a guy who can help you win a little bit. Because I think that was after Dante Exum's rookie season.
Yes. No, they lucked into Rudy because it was that year that they got serious that they sidelined Ennis.
Right.
And went with Rudy.
And he was real.
And he was real. And then his coming out party was really the year that they made the playoffs.
Right.
And beat the Clippers.
But to that point, you knew Gordon had established himself as a young player. Rudy was on the come, as you like to say. Like he was going to be your center of the future. And then it was like, where else do you need help? It's like, well, they need a point guard, so they got George Hill, and they need a veteran off the bench, so they got Joe Johnson. So the Jazz need to find their Rudy, which they probably have in Walker, but then they need the Gordon, and they probably need the one other young player that they feel like they can build around, and then you spend some money to go out and get somebody else. And they're actually a little bit more well-positioned than that because you're going to move a Lowry out to get something back to fill in those gaps, and then you have all these future unprotected picks from the Suns and lightly protected from the Lakers and lightly protected from the Timberwolves that you can trade to get better players, not just who can you attract in free agency. And that's what it will look like.
It makes a lot of sense, but one of the young guys has to be that person.
Yeah.
And I don't think we know that.
We don't have any idea who it is.
I mean, I would bet the Jazz want it to be Ace Bailey, but...
The Jazz would love for it to be Ace.
Yes, but that certainly is not a fact yet.
Yeah, at this point last year, they'd love for it to have been Cody. The year before that, they would love for it to have been Taylor or Keontae. And none of those guys have really broken out yet. Flashes, but no full breakout.
All right, we wrap up the week, which is weird to say on a Thursday. Coming up right around the corner, it is the Jake and Ben Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Who's got it better than us?
Your home for the best sports coverage in Utah. You're listening to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson, happy Thursday. Happy Independence Day to everybody out there.
How was your birthday weekend? I didn't ask.
Oh, I had a great birthday weekend.
You golfed?
Last weekend? Yeah. I played golf, went boating with my buddy. It was awesome.
It all worked out.
Yeah, it worked out
Good.
Terrifically well. Spent the whole weekend like in Midway, of all places.
Okay.
Which, by the way, we were talking to Cindy about this at Peach the other day. Like, Midway, Park City, all of that is so accessible. It's so close.
It is.
And it feels like you're on vacation. It's like...
Yeah, it's a different part of the world.
It really is a really cool part about living here. And not just Park City. I mean, you can make that... I mean, how far away is Moab? The world's best mountain biking is...
Hours away.
3 hours away?
Yeah, Bear Lake.
2 hours away?
2 hours away.
All this stuff is so accessible. It's really a terrific part of living here.
We should have Utah Tourism sponsor the show.
I did a tour of central Utah for multiple years, where we went to various counties across this great state and got the word out about the cool stuff there is to do.
Give us a call
and
or a text.
Yeah, the list is miles long. It's crazy. I shot. I'm not even a gun person, and I shot at this rifle that's like designed to shoot further than any other rifle.
Uh-huh.
And you can only shoot it at a certain amount of ranges in the country because they have to be long enough or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's one of those in Carbon County.
I believe that. We have a lot of space.
I saw Utah's last functioning brothel. That also in Carbon County.
That was a private excursion? That wasn't sponsored? You just thought you'd take that in while you were out on the road?
No, we went on like a side-by-side tour.
Well, I'm here.
No. It stopped running. You know what? It stopped running in a year that would raise an eyebrow, though. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It stopped running in
like 1986.
Like it was like 92 or something.
What do you mean? It was up and running.
But we were on. We did like a Razor side-by-side
Ethernet
thing.
cord in the wall? What? Internet?
It was. They're like, we were with.
It's a webcam.
We were with pointed it out to us. It's like, hey, there's Utah's last functioning brothel, and we were like, oh,
They're like, yeah, it's closed
really?
today.
Yeah, it closed in.
It'll be open tomorrow, though.
In 03. Wow. That was open for a while. Oh no, but we did all sorts of really cool stuff. Then we played. We did it one year where we played golf in the various counties, and that was pretty sweet.
That's cool.
Yeah, there's there's just a lot of great stuff to do in this fine state of ours, and hopefully people out there are doing something more exciting than Ben Anderson, who is going to be planting his yard.
I'm going to eat a brat or something. I'm still going to do some stuff.
Charcoal or gas?
Gas.
What, the birth of this nation isn't important for you enough for you to use charcoal like a normal American?
I also have a smoker. I can smoke it if I want to.
Listen here, Mr. Fancy.
Yeah. I've got a lot. Yeah, I've got options. I can also do it inside on a cast iron pan. I don't care.
No, you need a Weber that was manufactured in the 60s. And to put some good old-fashioned American charcoal in there.
I've never actually used charcoal by myself. I've been places where people are cooking with charcoal, campouts, etc., and that's the nice thing. It's portable. I've never bought charcoal, I don't think, and I've never owned a charcoal grill.
Go back to Canada, Ben. I mean, honestly.
You have a charcoal grill?
Yes.
Yeah. You like it?
We have a gas one, too, and a smoker, thank you very much.
Oh, you're calling me fancy. You've got all three.
Oh, our Weber is so old and beat
Yeah,
up. But
they
that's the
all are.
point.
Right. They last forever.
But I'll tell you what, on and you can't call it a barbecue, but a grill day or whatever you're doing, burgers and dogs, if you're going to be hanging out long enough, bust up the charcoal. Because then you can do s'mores after on the smoldering coal.
Because they stay
hot.
Yeah.
Telling you, Ben.
I get it.
The gas, and hey, I do appreciate a good gas grill. That's for like Tuesday night when you've got to whip up dogs for the kids.
Which is
real
generally
quick.
how I eat. Yeah, that's generally when I do it. It's a quick, been planting all day, throw it out there, get going.
But no, if you're going to do a good old-fashioned American celebration, by firing up the grill in the front yard, I think you got to go charcoal,
And then
dude.
you can light your fireworks off of it, right? Just stick the fuse in there.
You could do that.
Get your M80s going.
Let's see, how old's your son now?
Almost 13.
How loose are you with the fireworks rules?
He is not into that type of thing.
Okay. Oh,
Like I think he likes watching fireworks, but he is not like I think he's still afraid of bees. Like I don't think he has any interest in lighting a firework.
Okay.
He probably holds sparklers still really far from his body.
Because I'm still with my kids, who my oldest is 8. I'm still at the point now where I'm like envisioning how old she's going to be when I let her do things. I think of that stuff all the time. Like, oh, when is she going to get her first phone? 25. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I wonder that with fireworks. Like, I remember, when kids started being interested in fireworks. Like, at what point do you take off the
kid gloves?
Like, you can go out and light a fountain or something.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let them get out there and do it. 13, that's probably not reckless if you were to do that.
But I guarantee you he doesn't know how to use a lighter. Which is great. That means he's not getting into lots of different areas
Now, that's
he shouldn't be
naive, Dad,
getting
right? He's been flicking a lighter since he was
He's been
8.
smoking cigarettes behind the scenes. Whose pack is this?
Yeah, if you don't think he has, he has.
Whose cigarettes are these? I don't smoke. And he's only 9. But he does smell like cigarettes all the time. His teeth are yellowing. The dentist said something was wrong.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, well, that's good. Hopefully both your kids won't be into fireworks. Lloyd, do you let Xavier loose on the fireworks at all?
Oh, yeah. He's got his own backpack full of fireworks.
Yeah,
Does he?
He's got his own lighter with his initials.
I
Is
know.
it one of those Zippo lighters?
He can roll his
Yeah,
own
he has
cigarettes.
the ability to flip it open with one hand.
Gift from the old man.
He can light a match with his fingers.
Oh, that's so funny.
I knew a lot of kids like that too, who were like, yeah, my money that I save, whether I get it for my birthday or I have an allowance or whatever, I spend it on fireworks. That's not my kids.
No. Okay.
Not where
Well,
the
that's
money's
good. That's fortunate.
Fireworks
So it's just
factory.
the poppers or something like that.
And I like poppers. I like sparklers. And then I like fireworks. I was the kid who spent money on fireworks.
And then you like to shoot off your shotgun too.
Yeah, well, that's the best part. Yeah. Find somebody's drone and shoot at it.
I don't think they like that in your
Yeah,
neighborhood.
sparklers and shotguns for Ben.
It's sparklers and shotguns. That's the Sugar House way.
Sparkler in one hand,
That's
sawed
how-
off in the other.
That's how Ben grew up.
Yeah. It's Utah.
It's what we do.
It's freedom.
Absolutely. Happy birthday, America. Hopefully everybody enjoys it, though.
Be safe.
We're doing national radio tomorrow, so the Jake and Ben show will be back on Monday, and we'll have plenty of summer league to talk about.
Yes, we will.
Saturday is a big day, so we'll talk to you then. Hanson, Scotty
Thanks,
G,
Parker.
coming up next. Jake and Ben show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.